Oh, the streets are cold and gray, but the fire in our hearts won't stray from the pitch where dreams collide. We'll stand together side by side. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in, when the Spurs go marching in, I wanna be there in that number. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in, from the north to Wembley's light, under stars we own the night, with every cheer and every song.
Hello, welcome back to Project Spurs post-game thoughts between myself, Joseph. Got some of the other lads will join us shortly. But yeah, let's get straight to the topic of away at Sunderland. As time is fully running out now on Tottenham Hotspur's Premier League survival. That's 13 games now without winning the Premier League. That's 7 losses from our previous 8 games. 105 days now since Tottenham have won a game in the Premier League. We sit 18th on 30 points. There's 2 off of West Ham, currently in 17th. Bearing in mind, I think back in January, we're about 15 points clear of them. Something crazy like that. And we're now 3 points off of Nottingham Forest and Leeds, with Leeds still to play this weekend. They have Manchester United tomorrow night away from home. Joseph, just bringing you in, obviously another defeat. Time's running out, do you not think?
For me, it's done now. I don't have any faith that this team has a chance of getting out of this situation now. From the way that every other team is playing to what Tottenham are doing right now, it's just, I just have zero faith. You know, I mean, going into the game, I wouldn't say I was optimistic. I was still feeling quite, nervous for it. I wasn't expecting much, but, you have that hope. You've got the new manager. You're hoping for some kind of bounce that we didn't have with Tudor. You're thinking that maybe something could happen and we could get some kind of performance, but there was no performance. There was nothing. There was not one redeeming factor in that game for me. It was absolutely awful from the first minute to the end. I have nothing positive to say about anything going on, and I just have no faith that we have got a chance of getting out of this. The next games we've got are Wolves and Leeds. Oh, so Brighton, Wolves, and then Leeds. You should be kind of thinking, well, there's any chance we can get out of it. I have zero faith that we have got a chance of getting out of this situation now, because that performance was absolutely abysmal from every single one of those players on the pitch. So
yeah, I agree. I think time is definitely running out. When you look at the league and you look at the fixtures, you think, oh, Sunderland, they're not performing so well, and perhaps we might be able to get a result. A deflected goal seals it. We're just going to bring Phil in. Phil, I just was saying there's now 7 defeats in our last 8 Premier League games. That's 13 games without a win now. That's 105 days since our last victory. That came back in December against Crystal Palace away. Time's running out.
Well, it's a fucking disgrace. Like, I'm about to shout and scream and stuff, and like literally half cry. It cannot be.
I thought it was gonna be me, but I'm just.
But you fucking spend all weeks, obviously looking forward. Like I say, looking forward to this. But you know what I mean. We spend weeks planning for this game and waiting for Tudor to get sacked. We get De Zerbi in. He's got a whole week with the team. We get half excited. Okay, Joseph, I know you maybe not as much because you've called it from the beginning, but still, we want to believe in something. You want to believe that the players are going to turn up. You want to believe they can actually pass the ball, do simple moves. The problem is they can't do nothing. They can't do anything. I don't think it matters if De Zerbi's a manager now. All we can hope is that in some of those home games, like Leeds at home, somehow that we can just create something to get some goals, right?
We're not
Some of
creating
them are-
anything. We're not creating anything.
not
There's
creating
no
anything.
cohesion. There's no togetherness. There doesn't seem to be anything. For me, like, start planning for the championship, lads. How can we not be up for everything that happened before that Nottingham Forest game? Turn up and 20,000 people are out there cheering you on, and you go and get defeat 3-0. You get a new manager. Everybody, oh, he's amazing. He's fantastic. This, and this. Going to be an incredible manager for us. And then you go out and put another performance in like that. I'm just going to bring our resident Brummy in. He's got his shirt and tie on. We were hoping he was going to be able to strip on today's show, but we'll have to leave that until probably 2028 when we actually win a football game. But so I was just saying to the lads, time I think is running out for Tottenham. It's 13 games now without a win in the Premier League. That's 7 losses from our last 8 Premier League games. 105 days ago, our last result in the Premier League. We're now 18th, still 18th on 30 points, 2 off of West Ham with Leeds still to play. So time's running out, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, guys. Drastically running out. I had high hopes for today. First half wasn't too bad. I mean, I did, unfortunately for me, I was at work. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't get to see the first 15 minutes. So, but what I got into, a couple of chances. I mean, we're against a decent team at home. They're very hard to break down. But yeah, we're running out of games, guys. But for me, I think next Saturday is so much more important at home against Brighton. So much more important than what today was. But yeah, it's getting closer and closer to that final game of the season, isn't it? So.
Very worrying, very worrying. We're going to bring Cal in. Cal, welcome in to the, I don't know what we would have called it, I guess, therapy session, maybe.
Wake.
Funeral therapy session, all of those. As I said, we're 2 points off West Ham, and I think at the beginning of January, we were something like 10 to 15 points clear of them. I don't know the exact number, I can't find it, but their resurgence has been impressive. Well, I don't even know what we can. There's not words to put in how regressed this club has become in. We're now 2 points off of them in 18th. Forest pick up a 1-1 draw against Aston Villa, who are pushing for Champions League places, and Forest held them to a point. We're 3 points off them and 3 points off Leeds. Leeds have to play tomorrow. Time's running out, Cal, right?
Yeah, time is running out. The descent has been astronomical as well from, like you say, January, how far we sort of had that cushion as such. And a couple of weeks ago, we was talking about relying on everyone else with sort of their relying on them dropping points. Now we can't even rely on that at the moment. So it's a downward spiral at the moment, unfortunately, mate. And I can't see where our spiral comes out of that. And I think we might as well all just get our therapy degree for it, because we're not doing very good at Spurs podcasters for our first year of going, are we?
No, I think maybe we've had one. I think we've had one Premier League victory since we started this podcast. So it might be this podcast is cursed. What is cursed, though, Joseph? It's our injuries. We cannot seem to catch a break. We seem to get a player back, and then then your captain gets injured, and then you sell your top goal scorer from last season. Then your new attacking right midfielder gets injured for what seems to be for the rest of the season. Today, you think, okay, we're starting to get some injuries back, and then Howie wasn't given a second yellow card for the push on Romero. It's completely dangerous. The ball that neither of them are going anywhere is completely unnecessary. Pushes Romero into Kingsley, seemingly knocks Kingsley, I think, out for a few seconds and cuts him. And it looks like potentially either an ACL or a dead leg for Romero. Let's hope it's a dead leg and not an ACL. But you don't come off the pitch crying if it's something that isn't serious. He knows that that's serious. That is something we don't need right now. But it just, when it rains, it pours, Joseph, right?
Yeah, I mean, the referee had an absolutely awful game. Awful. Like, some of the decisions he was making were terrible. And I don't want that to take away from, because I know I'm seeing it a lot on Twitter. I'm seeing a lot. Obviously, a lot of Tottenham fans are pissed off about the refereeing. Don't let that change the fact that Tottenham were shit. Like, we were awful. We didn't deserve to get anything from that game. And, you know, we had no chance to get anything from that game from the actual ability on the pitch. But, yeah, the refereeing performance was awful. I don't know how that wasn't a second yellow. I can't believe it wasn't. I don't understand what Robbie's doing. He's just pushing somebody into somebody else to hurt them both. Like, it's not any kind of footballing challenge. What is the point of it? I don't understand how it can't be a second yellow. I know VAR can't get involved in that, but the referee was awful. I'm pretty sure that whoever that was on that co-commentary was trying to piss off Tottenham fans even more because, oh my God, he was the most pro-Sunderland person I've ever seen in my life.
Well, he actually used to play for Sunderland.
Yeah, well, there you go then.
Sunderland.
It was terrible. And they seem to do this every single game with Spurs. Like, they seem to get either ex-Arsenal or whoever the other team is, they get ex-players for that team to just push the needle even more. And oh my God, it was just, you know, the injury to Romero, yeah, it's a shame for him. You know, I said it out of frustration when he was coming off. And I don't want to, you know, he might be frustrated that he can't help save Tottenham. I don't think that's the case. I think he's ready to leave Tottenham. I think what he's frustrated at is the fact that he might be injured and he might miss the World Cup with Argentina. Yeah, I don't think he has that much love. I don't think he has that much love for Spurs anymore. And I can't sit here and blame him. You know, I think he was promised a lot and he hasn't been given what he wanted. And I think he's ready to leave. But again, if he does have an ACL injury, I don't think anyone's going to be buying him in the summer either. So he'll be stuck with us in the Championship. But yeah, just it is a shame. You know, the Kudus one again. That one, you know, was frustrating to get midweek, especially because, you know. And again, we had this whole, you know, overhaul of the medical department. And again, maybe we've just been unlucky. And again, Kudus has picked up some other knock or something and it's delayed it or whatever. But it doesn't seem like our players are coming back earlier than expected and are fine. It doesn't seem like any of our players are coming back on time. It is always the case that they're either getting re-injured or, you know, we haven't made the right decision. We should have gave them a surgery previously, but we didn't. Now we're going to have to give it to them now. It's just, why are we getting all this unfortunate? I don't know if it is just being unfortunate. I think maybe the people who are in the job aren't doing their job correctly, because we've been saying this for years now about Tottenham's injuries and we're not getting players back when they should be back. So it's an absolute mess from top to bottom. But, you know, in general, just I can't excuse any of it from the performance that we just got from the 11 players or 14 players that played today, 15 players. It was absolutely tragic. I cannot believe how bad it was. They genuinely look like they can't play football. I can't believe I'm saying that about professional footballers. They don't look like they can play. That's crazy.
There's definitely a lack of leadership, Phil. I think it's probably the best way to say it. Lack of leadership, lack of interest, maybe. But you look at our midfield today, everybody really, and a lot of us have been calling, let's get Bergvall and Gray together, and Bergvall plays in the 10, and Conor Gallagher, that's been bought in for £35 million. I think he's probably one of the worst signings we've made in recent history. And I was very, very excited about bringing him to the football club. I thought what I saw from him at Chelsea, and definitely what I saw from him in his time with Palace, I thought this is what we need. He looks completely lost. He looks like he has been playing in a league that is nowhere near to the standard of what the Premier League is, and it's not even. And La Liga is a very good standard of football. Midfield's completely bypassed the entire game. Archie Gray looked like he wasn't even on the pitch, Phil, at times, and that's not disrespecting to Archie Gray. That's just the reality is. There was just, we looked lost.
We have such an apathy about us, right? There's just nothing that functionally works in our play or in our team or in our tactics. And then you have individual performances coming into it as well, as you say, where people are just not in the game, or people are always in the wrong kind of positions on the pitch because they've got a lack of discipline, or they've lost any kind of tactical awareness or discipline that they had. And someone like Conor Gallagher coming in again, as you say, I was quite happy with the signing when we got him, because he is a good player. I don't think anyone can dispute the fact that he's a Premier League level footballer, and that he's shown and proven in the Premier League that he's good enough, right, to be a starting,
today.
midfielder in the Premier League. He was the captain for Poch for a season, but he's been pretty awful since joining us, apart from possibly there was one of the games against City, I think, where he actually played quite well, but he's been awful for us. And I don't think, where's he actually supposed to be playing? Is he supposed to be more attacking or more defensive, or just kind of an all-round 80
Well, it
kind
looked
of
to me,
role?
Phil, it was a 4-2-3-1. So it looked like he was beside Gray, and
Yeah.
Bergvall was more pushed in the 10, and he just didn't impact the game at all.
I thought he might play him as the 10, because he's played there as a 10 for Palace, when he was on loan there. And he actually does score goals normally, or he has in the past. But to me, it looks again, though, like someone that has just come into Spurs, as we've signed so many players in the past, and they just don't seem to perform, or they just don't seem to hit the mark. He's come in, okay, he's been a couple of months, but it looks like he hasn't settled. It looks like he's not obviously pulling the individual performances, right? Obviously, we've debated his signing anyway, is the fact that we didn't sign any other wingers or any strikers or any other kind of, left backs or whatever else in the window when we should have done. We know all about all of that. But, he's added zero. And as you said as well, though, Gary, I was looking forward to his leadership coming in, because he is a player who, he's a leader. He's been a captain for God knows how many games in his career. He's normally a loud player. He's normally riling the other players up, but he wasn't doing that today. I know he's not the captain on the pitch. That's Romero. And God, we've talked about his leadership as well on another matter. But he's one of those players where we need more leaders in the team. And he came up short today. No one can put hand on heart and say that they acted as a leader today in any shape or form. And we're missing that massively at that team anyways, not just today, but obviously probably over the last couple of seasons, right? To be honest, anyways, we don't have enough personalities in there. But in games like today, you need something extra, don't you? You need someone who's going to try and pull you out of the mess, maybe. I know we don't have David.
This is why in the press conferences and some of the interviews, Roberto De Zerbi's been very praising or very complimentary of Richarlison and Gallagher and Mawani and Solanke, saying that these are good top quality players, etc. They seem to, every manager that comes to the club seems to say these are great players when they're in training, and then we get out there and nothing happens. Like, for
instance,
do they believe it?
In training,
you look at Richarlison, for instance, today, just looking at the shots, we had 11 shots today to Sunderland's 13. Sunderland had 2 shots on target, 2, and we had 7. And I think 3 of them were back passes by Richarlison. I mean, there was no power in those shots or anything.
Gary, the thing is as well, though, right? And I know obviously the overall performance is crap. The run of form that we're on is crap. Whenever we turn up into a game, it's crap. But the problem is, sometimes you need a goal, don't you, from somewhere? And if you get that goal, then it gives you automatic positivity. It gives you a boost, right? Because you get the goal, you're ahead, and it does change the game. Goals change games, as we know. That's football. But if Richarlison takes that chance at the beginning of the game, or if that is Tell in that position who takes that chance, or whoever it is that takes that chance, the one where he was wide on the left-hand side, edge of the box. Actually, it was a very good opportunity. If that's a top Premier League player, the opposition more often than not scores those chances against us. They curl it in the bottom corner. Harry Kane obviously scores that. Son probably scores that. But you know what? A lot of other Premier League players score that, right? Players that play for Brighton, that play for Forest, that play for Sunderland. And if we just have a moment of quality in those, in those moments, that can change games, and that can bring that added, You know, like just whatever
Where
it
does
is.
that quality come from, though? Where's it
but
coming from?
This was something I wanted to
we're
say
not doing
quickly,
it.
if I can,
We're not doing it.
because like when we'll sit here and talk about attitude, and the attitude stinks from Tottenham players. They don't seem like they care. They don't seem like they want it. They don't seem like they really care about what happens with Tottenham, because a lot of them will leave and they won't give a shit. But the other thing as well is actual quality of player. Like some of these players, all of these players pretty much are international players. Why do they genuinely look like non-league players when they play for Tottenham? Like just simple first touch, 5-yard pass, like even like, again, Porro, some of his set pieces, some of his just technique in terms of passing the ball, like it is absolutely terrible. I cannot believe how bad they have been at football. Like genuinely sitting there watching Conor Gallagher play today, every single one of his first touches nowhere near him. His passes going either off the pitch or to Sunderland players. Bergvall, his first touch, awful every single time, making the wrong decisions. They can't pass the ball well to each other.
Right.
They can't build through the pitch. And again, they're not on the same wavelength a lot of the time. And that's again something they need to work on. But the actual just ability of these players is absolute crap. I feel like I could play better football than they can. I can't believe I'm saying that because I'm shit at football, and I still think I could be better than them.
I think it's being cohesive enough, being together, being a unit. You look at
some of that is
Sunderland.
cohesion,
They're so weak as well.
But you look at Sunderland. You got Luca now that played centre back. It was in League 1, 2, 3 years ago. You know what I mean? They had a great game. So
some of it's not even about cohesion and passion. Some of it's not even that though, Gary. Like, I'm genuinely sitting there watching it, and they can't take a first touch.
No, the first touch, yeah. The Bergvall on a number of times. You look at the ratings as well from today's game on FootMob. We've got 2 players over a 7. Bergvall 5.5, Kingski 6, Doggy 6.9, Richarlison 6.3, Gallagher 6.7. I don't know what game they were watching. Solanke 6.1. Now
he
Solanke
was awful.
But the problem is, we can say he was awful, but what chances he provided?
Yeah, but then again, though, Brobby didn't have to have chances created for him, and he was a nuisance all game. Solanke did nothing. He couldn't deal with Alderete. He couldn't deal with him.
Every ball came into Solanke. He was like half a second too late in terms of getting himself in front of the player. If you look it back, there was 3 or 4 ones, right, where he needs to come and get the ball slightly, but he didn't. And he was the second best of the player. These players, for whatever reason, mentally, I mean, as you've said, like, yeah, the quality is lacking, but there's something missing there in their heads. Mentally, they've lost it. They've lost it. They cannot play against the press. Whenever a team decides to press against us, we get even worse at controlling the ball. And even today, when Sunderland went through phases of pressing, they had some mini pressing phases, but they also had some passive phases where they just said again, hey, here's the ball, try and do something. And regardless of how Sunderland played the phases, we had no answer, and the players just lost. They lost their composure in those little moments. And that's the most concerning thing for me is, like, De Zerbi, tactically, or putting an arm around the players, what does he achieve? Can we achieve something in the next games?
We're going to need to. So just coming on to you, good point here from Mike. Football basics are lacking everywhere. I think that's spot on.
Yeah, it's not far wrong, is he? Let's be honest. Just like a 5-yard pass, they can't even get right, really, can they? It's worrying. I am starting to get a little worried. The players, as soon as we conceded that goal, whatever little bit of confidence they had just drained straight out of them as soon as we conceded that goal. I mean, like, I agree with everything that's been on the messages, everything we've all been saying, but at the end, we did get defeated by a massive deflection of a shot. If it wasn't for that, we'd have got 1 point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, this can't be on De Zerbi. He's just come in. As I was trying to say, I mean, I didn't expect much from Sunderland. They've got a good home record. They don't concede many goals. As soon as they did go ahead, I thought that was game over. It's going to be 1-0. But for me, I'm looking forward to the Brighton game. That, for me, will give me the benchmark, and I would turn around after that game, and I would definitely say if we're going to go down or not. You know, we've got to just keep getting behind the team. I know it's hard, and I'm trying to find positives, and it is really hard at the moment. But you know, we've got that new manager. Hopefully Saturday we can be celebrating 3 points. I can get rid of this stained, dirty, sweaty white shirt, and you know, we've just got to hope, guys. We've got to have hope. Without hope, you've got nothing.
Yeah, Cal. On the hope and looking at the Derby, did you see enough? Did you see anything that can make you think, oh well, Brighton next week, who currently he should have had this ready before he started talking. Amateur mistake. Brighton are currently 9th in the Premier League, by the way. So have you seen anything that makes you feel, and they won 2-0 yesterday, that we could go and beat Brighton next weekend, as it absolutely tips it down here at my house?
Oh, mate, it looks like the rain's just moved north. I think I had it about 10 minutes ago, and it's finally hit you up in your county, north of me. But no, I mean, I saw moments in this game, but it was 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. It's nowhere near enough. And it's more to echo what the guys have said. We are forgetting the basic fundamentals. And we all thought that realistically the training in the last week and a half since he's come in could have been sort of instilling that in them. And it just looks like we was back at square one again.
Yeah.
And we cannot take away from it that Brighton are a very good team. And I don't remember who their manager is, but he has continued the good work that De Zerbi did with them after 18 months of being in place there. So after today's performance, I'm a lot less confident than I was before kickoff. Let's put it that way. And I think that some of De Zerbi's in-game management today had questions to be asked, if I'm being honest, because some of the subs were questionable or too slow as well. I didn't see enough reaction either from it, because there was a few poor performances in that first half where you probably would have gone, no, I've seen enough. I can hook these players and try and instill some more creativity or some more sort of be more ruthless with it, because a lot of our forwards were toothless in that. We saw the Bergvall thing didn't work with him in the 10. We saw Richarlison and Muani being ineffective as wingers in there. Realistically, we probably could have hooked a centre-back, if we're being honest, based on the yellow card factor to them as well. Pedro Porro could have been hooked in there. So maybe I would have thought he could have been a little bit more ruthless with them. But we're clutching at straws now, aren't we? We're trying to see good in the game when we know it was so bad, and we're trying to hope for a miracle realistically as well after such a bad season. I hate to say it, but I'm like the guys, I'm dejected and I'm trying to see positives, but all I can see is negatives at the moment.
Yeah, I was trying to find something earlier. The first half, I thought defensively we looked a little bit stronger, tighter, I guess. But there was a number of just stupid fouls, and everyone seems to just be getting booked. The amount of fouls that the referee was giving was just to go a little bit over the top. Definitely don't think Romero's was even a yellow, but it's Romero, so it's going to be. I tried to find that. I thought defensively, looked all right. Midfield-wise, I was very worried because it just felt like we were completely being bypassed. It was just going back and forth, and nothing was sticking up front. Especially when you got three strikers up there, and neither of them really did a lot that excited me. Richarlison on the left-hand side, he had a couple of chances that let's be fair. If that's Matisse Tell, that's probably a goal. If that's Songy, that's a goal. Just poor finishing from him, and I think when some of us had said before when we were watching the James Maddison training video of how poor his shooting actually was. He's probably a better in around the 6-yard box. He's probably a better striker for that. So creatively, I thought we looked really poor. We weren't clinical enough in front of goal. Xavi Simons, I mean, came on for 5 minutes. Again, our creative outlet coming on for 5 minutes. What seems to happen, though, that's happened with Frank and it's happened with Tudor and has now happened here with this particular game. We've come in, I've almost been too scared to be creative, too scared to do things. And for me, Joseph, De Zerbi came in and praised Ange Postecoglou and basically said he wants to see similar style to Ange's football last season or the season before, the beginning of the Ange's tenure with the club. And he feels that he could potentially get that for these last few games. I saw absolutely nothing like an Ange Postecoglou first 10 games, maybe a little bit of the last few games where it was just lost. But look, it's been with the club for a whole of 10 days. No new manager bump again. We must be the only club in history that's employed 2 managers to get a new manager bump and not had it. Look at West Ham; they're flying now with Nuno in charge, new manager bump. Look at Forest; they're doing the same. I don't know if I see much today, Joseph, to get me thinking that next week is going to be any different.
Yeah, like I said, I think we're relegated now. I don't think we've got a chance. I know, obviously, we're not. But we are. Like, it's off of the performances that we're seeing. It's not just about the results. It's off of the performances. Like, tell me one game, maybe the Atletico Madrid game at home. Other than that, for the full year, I can't remember a performance I'm proud of. I was actually impressed by. Every single game is exactly the same thing. And you're right, we weren't maybe brave enough. Like Callum said, I would have taken off Bergvall at halftime, brought on Simmons. I would have brought on Tell for Colomwani. I thought he was quite ineffective in the first half. There's a couple of things we could have done to be more offensive in that second half. But the fact is, I think they're too shit. I don't think they're good enough at football to create anything. Like, I'm sorry, we didn't create anything in the whole game. Our best chance came from a cross that should have been dealt with easily and just fell to Solanke, and he just kicked it straight at the keeper. We were awful. It was an absolutely awful game of football. And this is the thing, like the first couple of minutes, it was like, oh, we're trying to go on the front foot a bit. And then it was just, I genuinely cannot believe how bad it was. It's just pathetic. Like, I feel like I'm watching non-league football. When I go and watch Southend or stuff like that, I feel like I watch better football, and they're in non-league. I genuinely think I watch better football, more impressive with actual technical ability. This is abysmal. I cannot believe how bad they are. I can't believe it.
Joseph, can I just interrupt? Do you sense, or do you think that the performance was a little bit better, a tiny bit better than under Tudor?
I genuinely don't.
I genuinely don't. A bit more I did than when we were under Tudor.
Well, we didn't concede as many goals. That's about it.
But then again, though, I would say we could have. Like, I know they didn't have loads of chances, and let's be honest there as well. Sunderland weren't good. They weren't that good. They didn't do anything.
No, I thought Sunderland were really poor. At one point, there was I think there was all the WhatsApp chats were going off left, right, and centre, and I nearly put in all of them. These aren't even that good. They're not doing anything. They are together. They're a unit.
And they're solid.
They're solid. They're hard to break down, and we couldn't break them down because, again, and something that Adrian says a lot on Die Hard is we didn't win our midfield battle. We had 3 players in there that made absolutely zero impact on the game at all, and then we had 3 strikers. One striker on the left-hand side that can't affect the game from being on the left-hand side. Colomwani, again, I felt just was missing. We didn't provide anything for Solanke to do anything. Again, he got 1 opportunity. However, if you get 1 opportunity in the past and that fell to Harry Kane, all of us knew that's a goal. That's the difference of the fine margins. We just don't. With the squad planning at the club has been so poor that we're at the point now where all we've got in midfield most of the time are runners and nobody with creative outlet. And the creative outlet that we've got, we're in such a dire position that we can't really gamble on him starting because we're too scared of the team we're playing against. So effectively, we're keeping Xavi Simons sitting on the bench because we're too scared of conceding goals.
It's also the tactical mind of these players. Like, you know, like you said, we only conceded one. We could have conceded more. I mean, Xhaka just missed from his shot on the edge of the box. That was a pretty good strike. And also that free kick, going back to that free kick in the first half where they had 3 unmarked players at the back post and it was just headed straight wide. That could have easily been a goal. It could have easily been a goal. And it's like the players aren't switched on enough tactically. Like, it felt like Gallagher and Bergvall especially were always in the wrong position. No matter where we were on the pitch, either we were going forward and they were too far back, or Sunderland were attacking and they were too far forward. Like you said, they were getting completely bypassed. I don't see any redeeming fact. I don't see anything redeeming in that game that I can take into that Brighton game. There wasn't one thing for me that I thought was better than where we were under Tudor. Nothing.
So
I'll tell you one
Phil,
thing.
just coming.
I'll tell you one thing though. Kinski was better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with that. I thought he played well.
He should have got a higher rating than Gallagher.
Yeah.
I thought he played well.
Gallagher, when he was chasing for Sunderland's goal, he looked like he had cement in his boots.
Looked like he was on that treadmill that I was on this morning.
When
What about Richarlison's fucking slide? Richarlison's sliding challenge is useless as well.
Really pleased for Kinski, actually, because he deserved that. Yeah, poor old boy. That he's only young, but early, wasn't it? A lot of the balls passes were going back to him. Really happy for him. That he came out well, didn't he? At one point, made a sort of an old Peter Schmeichel type, made himself big, and fair play to him. And look, the goal isn't his fault. That's nobody's fault. That's a deflection. He's never going to get that. But Phil, I was going to come to you. Jamie O'Hara is on Sky Sports at the moment. He's just said, and quote, "We haven't won a game in 2026. What chance have we got?"
Well, right now, everyone's basically just scratching their heads, aren't they? Trying to find some positivity, But look, we've said the same thing for the last couple of months, right? Pretty much every pod we've come on after we've, lost the game where we've either given away presents or been second best. We try and look for the positives. Right now, a positive was Kinski, clearly. I for what it's worth, I think we looked a bit better defensively today. Compared to the last matches under Tudor or Frank. And yeah, admittedly, as you said as well, Gaz, Sunderland weren't particularly great. I mean, before they scored in that second half, Sunderland didn't really do much for the 10 minutes before that. And I thought that was the moment really for De Zerbi to make his subs and that we would try and get into the game.
I do need to just cut you off quickly. We'll come back to you because Roberto De Zerbi has spoken to the BBC. He said, sorry, because we didn't deserve to lose the game. We played a good game, maybe not enough to win, but we were unlucky in the few situations in the first half. I actually do agree with that. I cannot say anything to the players because they gave their best in terms of their attitude and spirit. We can play better for sure, and you can feel better. We have to work on that. My work is not so much on the pitch because they're good guys, and I'm sorry for them. I just want them confidence in what they need. So I think he means I want them to have confidence in what they do. Tactically, we played a good first half with the ball and without the ball. We don't have the confidence to play great football, but we did what we have been working on this week. The players can play better if they're feeling confident. This just comes down to one thing that I think we can all see from them is a confidence issue. He spoke on keeping spirits high. I can be a big brother, a father. They don't need a coach. They don't need to improve football. They can play better, and they will play better once they reach a different level of confidence. When also speaking on looking forward to the challenge, he said, absolutely, I'm sure if we're able to win games, then everything will change. And just coming back to you, Phil, confidence is clearly shot at this football club.
Well, it's the main reason probably why the players, as we said, are just all not individually and collectively not performing whatsoever. You know, they look like they have no idea. I mean, look, we've said they're not making 5-yard passes. They're not. They're late to second balls. They're losing 50-50s. And of course, we'll say that that's a lack of effort, lack of desire. And I think you do have to question that, right? We all have to question the players. You know, do they want it? Some of them do. Some of them don't. Some of them want to leave probably, and they're not that bothered. But I think it's a bit unfair maybe to just kind of generalize sometimes that, you know, the whole team, you know, is not up for it and they're not trying and they're not putting enough effort in, you know. When you have zero confidence and when you've lost all belief in your own abilities, right, probably in any sport, right, and certainly also in the world of work and life and things, it's difficult, right? It's difficult to get back to the level where you would normally act at or operate at. And with the problem that we have is that this squad of players, has there been another club or another squad potentially in like Premier League history that has probably lost, you know, that level from where its baseline is? Bearing in mind we're a bigger club and we've sunk down to these depths right now, looking at the players we have, because there is enough quality in there. The players are just dead inside in terms of, as you said, or as we've said already, you know, they're scared to be creative. They're scared to make passes because they know or they think that if they give the ball away, then they're going to get berated for it, or they'll allow a counter which results in a goal. And I'm not, and don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing Ange here. I don't want to talk about Ange Postecoglou. But again, I think this whole problem does stem back from elements of those last, 15 months of Ange, where we got picked off so many times on the break. We got picked off defensively so many times, letting in 3 or 4 goals, right? Because, do you know what I mean? Of errors, of giving the ball away, of not being in the right position, and going from him then to Thomas Frank, and, obviously everything that's happened since then has just had an extra impact on the players, an extra weight on the players, knowing that whatever they do now, if one of them thinks, I'll spray a pass over there, or I'll actually try a through ball, it's got to the point where they're almost like mentally blocked, from doing it. And I
feel it's just that they've shot at that confidence that you don't want to try something, and you're questioning your abilities. So, because you know this in any business, maybe even in your where you are, if you're not sure, or because your confidence is down, sometimes even though you can do it, you start questioning yourself, and then that puts doubt in your mind. And and I know we're saying this about people that are earning hundreds of thousands of pounds a week, but they're humans as well.
At the end,
people.
In my business, there's people that know they can do it, but they'll come and ask for a bit more confidence to make sure they're doing it correctly. But when you're in the football pitch, you can't do that. So if you're unsure and you haven't got that confidence in something, you're not going to attempt it. And let's be honest, we haven't won a Premier League game all this calendar year, 2026. So the players have got zero confidence, so they're not going to try all these tricks or try something to beat a player. They're going to, if they've got to, knock it back. A few of the comments coming up, I think if we can get a scrappy 1-0 win or anything like that, I think that could be a game changer for us, and it could just spark that confidence. But De Zerbi's saying all the right things. Guys, that's all he can do is give the guys the confidence, the players, the confidence to go out there and perform in our next game. And also, at the end of the day, I know it's so hard to find positives at the moment. We're so used to losing. We all feel so dejected, not just us 5, all the fans. But we did lose to a freak goal, a massive deflection that Kinski couldn't do anything about. If you're doing well, that deflection goes past the post and goes.
I think the only issue in there is we should have been closing that down earlier. I think Joseph, you brought that up earlier. We should have been, but that is a freak goal, and we're not getting those, are we? We're not getting that.
Should have been getting to that player as well.
On
I
the
mean,
Gallagher.
like he looked like he had concrete in his boots. He looks like he's a secret agent from Chelsea at the moment, doesn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's it's.
Go on, Phil. Go on, Phil.
No, I was just going to say though, I agree with Si though in terms of the fact that look, we weren't okay. There's a lot of aspects of our game that weren't good today, and Sunderland weren't that great either. But to be fair, like if you bear in mind that the ref, like I mean that ref, that he was probably the worst refereeing performance. I don't want to overhype here, but that's probably the worst refereeing performance I've seen. I think in terms of just like lack of control of the game, bias for the other team, not giving yellow cards. You know, Brobby should have got 4 or 5 yellows in that game, and he didn't get a second one at any point. You know, like there was nothing right.
Look at this, Phil. He should have got. I think he should have got a second though, Phil. But look at it.
No, he should have done. He should have got 4 second yellows, right?
Yeah.
He should have been sent
Mickey
off.
Mickey Van de Ven pushed him in the first half.
Yeah, it was.
And got in the first half, pushed him, which I don't even think was a push, by the way. I think it's just just some physicality there. He got booked for that. Brian Bobby's done exactly the same thing. There was no need for him to even do that. It's caused a collision that has injured 2 players and
the linesman. I know VAR, as Joseph said, can't get involved in the Romero Kinski thing, but the linesman should be seeing that push. You know, and then he caused.
They probably does, but they just don't. They don't step in.
Yellow.
They're too scared to.
But it's
I'm pretty sure the referee gave a foul, didn't he? Did not the ref?
No.
Did the ref not give a foul?
He didn't give anything.
I thought
he didn't give
a foul. Oh,
no,
okay.
nothing.
Push. It's a yellow card.
Yeah, 100% it was a yellow card.
It's 100% a yellow card. But talking about yellow cards, Christian Romero, since joining us since August 2021, has had 36 yellow cards and 4 red cards. If he does that, that's a second yellow, Cal, right?
Yeah, anything that Romero does will result in a card or a long match ban or a VAR overview and all that. But he doesn't help himself realistically, and silly challenge for him to do it. He was always coming in from the back, gets that yellow. Yes, he had a tug of war with everyone else, but he just puts a target on his back and doesn't help himself, and he doesn't help us as a team. And if we're being honest, and this is from the bottom of my heart, and I know we've spoken about it on other shows, he does not set an example as captain of a football club one way or another, because he's always leaving you in the lurch, concerned and worried about what he's going to do, and if you're going to be playing with 10 men within some period of the game. But then we still got silly other yellow cards today. So it wasn't just Romero, was it? It was Van de Ven. It was Porro for dissent. It could have been Mawani for diving. It's silly mistakes which lead to this, which is the basic fundamentals. And it seems every other team can do dark arts football. We can't. And it deprives us of all momentum, because as soon as we go and commit a foul, you stop it. We're going to get 3 minutes of yellow cards, and everything that comes up is just breaks up play too much. We cannot control games, and these bookings don't help that at all. And when we've been in control of games, we've actually had people sent off previously, and it probably should have happened today as well. I think we was lucky, and I think Sunderland were lucky to end up with 11 men on the pitch, both, if we're being honest.
Especially with the way the referee was refereeing the game. Joseph, 3 people were at the game, which quite surprised me that they were all there. Vinay Venkatesham, Yuang Lang, and Vivian Lewis. I've been quite vocal in saying that they gambled the future of this football club in January, and this essentially is on the 3 of them. They sat there today to see Roberto De Zerbi's first game in charge at the football club, which we're all excited about. All 5 of us were texting each other today in the group chat how excited we were about the game and about De Zerbi coming in. that gamble, because it is a gamble, could potentially damage this football club for a long, long time.
Yeah, they can all fuck off, to be honest. Sorry. Just awful. Like, genuinely, like they've failed at their job. This is their job, and they've failed.
You never fail to disappoint, Joseph. You never fail to disappoint.
I'm sorry. I've just been sitting here listening, and I'm just so done. Like, I have zero hope that we are going to survive. Zero. Like, and I appreciate like Si and Phil, and trying to give us some kind of positivity, because I need it. Like, I don't feel it. I can't see us getting out of it. I just don't think we have any kind of chance of getting out of it at all. And
for
it's
me,
such a shame.
Joseph, if the players were giving in now, we'd be criticising them left, right, and centre, wouldn't we? And some of them might have, and we're criticising. Us as fans, we can't give in until it's like mathematically impossible.
I don't know.
No, I get that
side. I get the.
I do get it, Si.
Being pessimistic, but it's getting a struggle now, and I'm struggling.
I do get it, Si, but so you guys know me better than anyone will in terms of with Spurs, and I'm quite a negative guy. Like, I am. I'm quite pessimistic.
No, Joseph, you're not.
I always have been, because all my life growing up watching Tottenham, I never saw us win. Never. From the moment the first trophy we won in my lifetime was in 2008, and I was 7 years old. So I never saw it. I didn't understand it. I didn't really understand what it was like. And since then, the whole time I've grown up, they've showed me how to be pessimistic. All for me with sports, with England, with American sports, with Tottenham. I've just been told to be pessimistic because it never usually works out. And the thing is, it's like this season especially, like, I have been pessimistic, but there's been tiny little bits of hope where I've gone, maybe we can do it. Maybe there's a chance. Maybe we can do it. And I get myself up for it, and then I just get disappointed again and again and again. And I got myself up for this game. I was kind of feeling like, okay, I was a bit nervous. I wasn't feeling as positive as everyone else, but I was kind of thinking, you know what, there's a chance. Sunderland aren't great. They're not bad, but they're not great. They've been a bit inconsistent the last couple of weeks, couple of months, especially since they kind of assured that they'd be up. And I'm thinking, we have everything to play for, but we got given that. And personally, again, for me, I didn't see anything redeemable in that game, other than maybe Kinski playing okay. I didn't think there was anything else in that game that gave me any kind of confidence going into the next one. So I just have no faith that Tottenham are going to get out of it. And going back to the point, Gary, in terms of just, Johan Langer, Vinay Venkatesham, just, again, how are you so inept at your job? I don't understand how you're so bad at your job. That Tottenham Hotspur is such a massive football club, and you are going to be the people that are known for getting them relegated. That's going to be on your CV for the rest of your life. You're going to be known as the people that got Tottenham Hotspur relegated. That is abysmal. That is a joke. They shouldn't be able to work anymore in this industry. They shouldn't.
Ultimately, it's going to cut. It is and does start and end with the players, and they're not showing enough. They're not fighting enough for the badge that they're wearing. I'm going to quickly go around to all of you, and then we're going to say goodnight for the evening and let you all go and enjoy yourselves. There is 1,500 of you watching, so I do appreciate you watching. So we haven't been on here for a little while, the five of us. Obviously, there's been the break. We'll be back tomorrow as well with Sam from the Daily Mail. He'll be joining us to talk all things Tottenham. But just going around, obviously, we know Joseph opinion is that we're going down. Phil, are we done, or do you think there's still something that we can hold on to?
We're not done yet. We're not done yet. I mean, there is still 6 games left. We have a number of home games. I know our home record still isn't the best, but again, on paper, they are games that we can win. And I think we have to still believe, some may say it's grasping at straws, but we have to believe that maybe we get some individual goals. Maybe we start actually getting some wonder goals from somewhere, or that lucky deflected goal that happened today. You know, maybe the opposition getting a red card and we actually decide to take advantage of it for a change. You know, there is winnable games in there. Even a couple of the away games, you know, arguably on paper are winnable. You know, De Zerbi's going to get more time with the squad. He only had a week with them. You know, he's got all of this coming week, and then it's Brighton at home. Obviously, a very, very big game. So, look, we're not done yet. I think if we lose against Brighton, though, if we lose that game at home next weekend, then we're gone. But again, realistically, it depends on the kind of the results of other teams still a bit as well, doesn't it? If Leeds pick up a result against United tomorrow, if Forest and Leeds pick up results next weekend and we lose, then we're done. We're not coming back from that. The players are not going to get a rise. So we're not done yet. We still can make it happen, and I'm going to believe in that for now, and you know, get behind the team and get behind the manager. But we've got to see some. We've got to see some concrete improvements next weekend.
Just coming on to the next fixtures, obviously we've got Brighton next weekend. Just quickly go to Saturday. Next Saturday, Leeds are at home to Wolves.
Yeah, fuck's sake.
Which is not the best for us. And then on Sunday, Burnley travel to Nottingham Forest. And on the Monday, West Ham travel to Crystal Palace. So it's again, they're all games that those teams should be winning.
They could win all of those, and we could lose to Brighton, and that would be it.
Well, then we're done.
So Phil's theory, you've just shot down in flames there. That we're gonna get some help from other people and all that sort of thing. Yeah. That's the problem. We're screwing ourselves now, aren't we? Realistically,
we were too reliant. We were thinking we could rely on other teams around us, a bit like last season. When in January, right, and we were like 15 points, whatever it was, off of West Ham, we thought, oh well, we'll just get an interim and we'll be all right because the teams below us will keep losing. We've continuously lost, and they've made not only transfers in January and improved their squads, and those players that have come in are impacting the team. Look at West Ham, for instance. But also the managers are making huge impacts on the clubs in and around, and they're picking up points. We can't rely on anyone else. Like today was a prime example. If we'd have got at least a point, I said a 1-1 draw would have been fine. Yeah. Okay, we would have still been in the bottom three, but it's about the reaction that we could have got. There wasn't one. Cal, asking you the same question. Are we done, or do you think we've got something we can potentially sort of hold on to?
Clutching at straws again here, mate. I hope there's something we can do, but I'm more towards Joseph's line. I mean, next time on his birthday, I'm going to get him a card that says moody fucker in it, but I hope he gets me one back as well, to be honest, because realistically, I'm not feeling it. I don't feel the confidence in us at the moment to say that we're definitely going to survive. I'm honestly burnt out. I don't know where we're getting the points from.
Yeah.
And that's just me being honest, mate.
Roberto De Zerbi has been speaking to Sky Sports. He said, I'm sorry for the result. I'm sorry for the Romero injury. We didn't deserve to lose this game. So
we didn't do enough. We didn't do enough to win it, though.
So we didn't deserve to win it.
He does reference that in the quote I read earlier to the BBC. He did say he didn't think we'd done enough to win it. So effectively, he thinks that should have been a draw. I'm with him. I thought we were unlucky not to get a point. The deflected goal is a deflected goal, but
the thing is that there wasn't a lot in the game for anyone to win it, and that's fair enough. But they battled more than we did. Like they won every second ball. They defensively they were a lot more physical, all over the pitch. They wanted it a bit more than we did. So yeah, he might be right in the fact of no one really did enough to win the game. But if somebody was going to come out on top, in a fight, that would have been a split decision for them. It would have been like because we we weren't in it. We didn't have the fight to get anything from the game, and that's what's so disappointing as well. Like, the fact is, Sunderland have nothing to play for now. They have nothing to play for, and we have everything to play for. Yet they still show more fight and more desire to win a game than we do. Like, you know, we had 11 minutes added on, and I didn't have any hope that we were going to get a goal. I don't think the players on the pitch thought we were going to get a goal. I think they were just ready for the game to be over. And just proves where we are. Where we're at.
Joseph,
I am critical of time. Just so we're just finished with you. You think next weekend's the most important?
Yeah, do guys. Yeah, I understand. I'm with Phil. I'm still not giving in. Was De Zerbi's first game. I mean, hopefully, for me, I mean, I would like to see Simmons on a lot earlier, but De Zerbi has seen for the first time the players playing the Premier League game, been there with them, whereas watching them in training is not the same, let's be honest, in a full contact game in the Premier League. So, yeah, for me, it's all on next Saturday. And for me, the important games are home against Brighton, home against Leeds, away against Wolves. But once again, guys, we're following another project. How many projects with Spurs? Yeah, but there's always one project of Spurs that'll always be here, and that's right up there in that corner up there. We'll always be here. We don't change.
Yeah, we'll certainly be here. Not next week. We'll be here the week after. We'll be here when Christian Romero leaves. We'll be here when Mickey van der Ven leaves.
Against Lincoln City, we're going to be here.
We'll be here at Lincoln City away. I'm going to be paying £100 to watch, I don't know, random FC, whatever clubs are in the Championship, Ipswich Town or something. I don't know, whoever. But I'm going to be at the games. Just to end, Christian Romero will undergo a scan to see if he has an MCL injury or if it was just an impact injury. Romero's understood to have some instability in his knee with pain consistent. So it doesn't sound good at all. I'm going to sign off with my thoughts. I think, well, there is 1,500 of you, so if my thoughts matter, then great. This is his first game, Roberto De Zerbi's first game. I saw some glimpses that I thought something might happen. My biggest concern was the amount of times the midfielders being bypassed. They had little to zero impact on a game, especially when we saw something, certainly since we saw performances from Archie Gray before this, where he was controlling a large part of what's happening with Spurs. That didn't happen at all today. Very disappointed in that. I was quite disappointed with the front three. Defensively, I thought we looked stronger. Again, in ill discipline, caused us some shaky moments, but all credit to Anthony Kinski for coming through without any errors and looked quite, what can I say, professional, I guess, a professional performance from him. I'm interested to see how we play against Brighton next weekend. I think it's going to be a huge game, not only for De Zerbi being against his old club, but his first one at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's hope that we can all get behind him, the club, the team, and try and suck the ball into the net and hope that a bit of luck comes. However, I am very aware of everybody else around us. If we lose next weekend, I'm going to be resigned to the fact that this is over for us. So I'm going to stick with Si and Phil there. I think if we do lose next weekend, I think this might be the end for us in the Premier League, and it will be the biggest story in football. There's no doubt about that. So I'm going to mute Callum because all we can hear is him typing on his thing in our ears. So again, 1,500 of you, I do appreciate your time. Sorry again, we haven't been able to see Si strip on today's show. I had the full Monty music ready to go and everything, but it wasn't today. Hopefully next week there will be a better performance and, more importantly, a result.
Carl, I'll get you involved too.
We definitely don't want to see that. But as you guys said, we're going to be here whether we're playing Lincoln away, even Lincoln in the Championship, or is that just what we say? I don't even know.
I think they're about to get promoted to the Championship.
Okay.
So
They
have been.
Oh, they have
Yeah,
been.
Right.
Could be at Luton. We could play Luton.
Be a good away game,
So-
won't it?
It might be Luton and Lincoln away next season, but we'll still be here doing the shows and talking Tottenham. Please do follow the guys. You can get their social media handles just next to all of their names. Obviously, follow Project Spurs over on YouTube. That really helps out as well. I think at 8 o'clock tonight, Spurs Diehards are on. Please do go over and support everybody that's on their shows tonight. And Si probably wants to do
Guys.
something crazy before we leave.
Just a quick question. If we don't win another game in the Premier League and we do go down, I don't think we will, but if we do, does that mean I've got to wear the white shirt and the black tie for the whole of next season until we get the 3 points in the Premier League?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
I
going to
think
look
so.
like you support Watford.
Yeah, I think so. So
Mailed on.
Love it, guys.
Okay.
Love it.
Excellent. Well, thank you for everybody. I appreciate your time. Take care. And I want to say, come on, you Spurs, but
Come on,
it's,
you
we just can't.
Spurs!
We can't.
it's
Staying
getting
up, mate.
difficult.
We're staying
All
up.
the best.